Welcome back to Upstate Real Producers Beyond the Page podcast, where we spotlight people who are moving upstate forward, one relationship, one home, and one community at a time. Today, our guest is someone who's not just at the top of her game, she's helping shape the game. We're joined by Melissa Morrell, a powerhouse realtor at Berkshire Hathaway C and Joyner of REALTORS, based here in Greenville, South Carolina. With over 2 decades of experience and deep community roots, Melissa is known not only for her real estate results, but also for her heart. Whether that's guiding clients, supporting causes, or raising awareness for issues that matter. Melissa, welcome to the podcast. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored that you called me to be a part of this. It means a lot. It really does.
Great. And Melissa, we've known each other for a while, and I think this month is very special. And I think I couldn't think of a better person to have on this podcast. So let's just jump right into it. So you've been a part of the Greenville real estate market for a very long time. Just kind of tell me, how did you get started in this career?
Okay. So yeah, I've been a realtor in Greenville since November of 2003. So a long time. Yeah, over 2 decades. I feel like I just started yesterday, dropping a key from the lockbox into the porch. I mean, I think back to all those mumbled moments of my early career. But my mother was a real estate agent. So I've been around it since the 80s, basically. She was a school teacher and kind of did it on the side a little bit, and then eventually went full time with it. So I've been around it since I was, a teenager, a preteen. And I think a lot of what I do and how I treat people in general, but certainly in real estate, comes from her. Just that osmosis of being around it and hearing how she dealt with situations or people or a home, whatever that case might be. Now, initially I fought against it. I'll never be a real estate agent. Are you kidding me? And so I graduated from the University of South Carolina, the journalism school, and had a 10-year career in PR and marketing, a corporate side, and working for a PR agency here in Greenville. So I had that background, and I think that it was a perfect segue and skill set that pushed me into real estate. And then of course, having that background with my mom, it was just a nice transition, so to speak. And I'm very, very fortunate that it all happened the way it did. Just kind of fell into place.
Well, Melissa, since I've known you, and 20 plus years of being a realtor, you've been one of the top realtors in the area. One thing that really stands out is just your passion. What would you say, what drives that passion? What motivates you to just day after day, just give your best for you, your family, and your clients?
Yeah, I think I'm wired a little bit differently. Number one, I think I was given a lot of energy too. And I think sometimes that can be a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes I'm very competitive against myself more than anyone, honestly. I don't always wonder about what other people are doing. It's just every year in my career, I constantly was pushing, obviously not just, for my family, most of all. That was my have to factor. Just, do this for my family and let me be the icing on the cake of the foundation being Tony and being the father and my husband. And then from there, but at the same time, he was my biggest cheerleader after my mom. And I think that we're wired differently. I have a lot of energy. I've had a lot of support from Tony and from my family, from my 3 children. They've sacrificed a lot to see my career grow. I think now that they're adults, our youngest is about to be 19, our oldest is about to be 27. I think they've always seen that entrepreneurial spirit in myself and in Tony. I don't ever see them being behind a desk, so to speak, and that they won't be, because they've seen us just start our businesses and grow our careers and know that they can do anything they set their mind out to. And I never would have dreamed that I would have been so blessed to get into this profession and to sell, to me, one of the most amazing places in all of this country, if not this world. I mean, Greenville, South Carolina is special.
I agree.
It truly is special. And I'm honored to sell it. I mean, it's easy to sell, really. So it's fun. So
I love that you have taken a career and been able to just shine that light for your family, for your clients. We're somewhat from the same area. And I agree with you. I think this is the best place to live in all of the world.
And keeps getting better.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just, we keep, you know, we're not perfect. No city is. We're going to have hiccups and bumps and bruises, but I think that the leadership in this town, and I still call it a big town.
Yeah.
I really do, because I can go, and granted, I talk a lot and I know a lot of people, but I don't care if I'm at Publix or if I'm in downtown Greenville or getting my hair done, I'm gonna see somebody that I know. And I love that feeling. If I don't know them, I'm probably gonna get to know them. So it's fun.
I call it like a neighborhood city.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's neighborly. Like
it is.
It's like everyone feels like they're all for the Upstate.
Yeah.
They want it to thrive. They have a lot of passion behind it as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that, you know, whether if you live in the suburbs, if you're in Malden, or if you're in Taylor's, if you're in Fountain Inn, I think there's this feeling of everybody being a part of the city of Greenville, but then they also have their little sort of smaller personalities and cultures and places to go close to where they live, but they always know they can come to the city too and experience the Peace Center, or to go to a show at Bon Secours, or get a nice dinner out.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's fun. Yeah.
Well, in 20 plus years in this business, and something that I've admired about you is, at least from the outside looking in, you've been able to create lasting relationships in such a competitive market. How do you do that?
I think it's simple, to be honest. I think it's do what you say you're gonna do, and follow up and follow through, and do unto others as you would have do unto you. I mean, it's simple stuff. Have I missed opportunities? Have I let something slide here or there? Absolutely. No one's perfect. And I think that the greatest thing is to have a repeat client, if not a three-peat client, you know, someone that you can get to sell for, not just for them, but then it grows to their aunt, uncle, grandmother, babysitter's daughter. You know, it's so fun. That's the best part of this business. My mom would always tell me, you know, once they have your trust, it's golden from there. And it truly is that way. And it'll just like fall from manna, like manna from the sky. It'll just be like, oh my gosh, if you do what you say you're gonna do, and you take care of people and you truly care about them. That was the hard part for me during COVID, was that I felt like a lot of people in this industry didn't really care about their clients, make the money, throw the sign in the ground. Whereas I'm going, please don't buy that house. Please don't buy it for that much. And we created a whole new set of benchmarks that are here, and we're seeing some changes right now. But for the most part, it was just a very crazy time, for sure. And for me, ethically and so forth, it was just challenging. Yeah, it was probably the most challenging, except for the recession. That was not fun either. Don't give me 08 to about 11 back. Those were some hard times too. But it also, I think that's when you find out, wow, I can, in the worst of times, I can still do well in this profession. That's what proved to me that, like, okay, if I just keep grinding, I can only imagine where this could go. That was exciting.
I think it's so cool that by being in this for so long, you're now working like change the generations. Like, how cool is that? Like someone you help buy their first house, and you can be helping their kids, and might even at some point the kids.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's so cool that you've been doing this so long, that you're changing lives, not just for one generation, just multiple.
Absolutely. I think right now I'm in this beautiful place between where I can help people that are, you know, leaving their last house, so to speak, and having to go to an assisted living, and knowing how to communicate to them in terms of, you're gonna have to be on the phone. You're gonna have to get face to face. You're gonna have to, at the same time, then you're working with people that are 25 years old, that only wanna text, who are only gonna find you on Instagram, who have a different way to communicate with you, and being able to cater to everybody's needs, but also, make a difference, because I want those people at 25 to call me at 35 and 50 and 80, you know, all the, you know, forever, you know, and again, that's what's nice about it. Yeah.
And so we've talked about how awesome this place is. We haven't got really in detail, but what would you say your take on the Greenville market right now? What should buyers and sellers really be paying attention to right now?
I think that a couple of things. I think we are all recalibrating. I'm calling this the year of adjustment for my family, but also for my business. I think we're all adjusting to the fact that we are beyond the COVID frenzy, I called it. And everybody's having to understand that you're not necessarily going to get what your neighbor got 2 years ago on the sale of their home. Likewise, we're facing just global economic factors and certainly higher interest rates. They're not terrible.
I agree with you.
They're not terrible, really. I had an agent, I won't say her name, she's been in the business for a long time and I adore her. And she told me at a closing a couple months ago, Melissa, really anything that's not a double-digit interest rate ain't bad. It just depends on what can you afford.
Yeah.
Now, granted, my kids would say, Mom, the prices are higher, gas is higher. I get that. All things are relative, and you just have to recalibrate and adjust accordingly. So I think sellers are having to adjust. I think buyers are, it depends on what you're looking at, what price range, what area of town that you're in, but I would say that we're entering or have entered a more balanced market. We're not necessarily in a buyer's market or a seller's market anymore.
Yeah.
Now that could change. Again, when I say that, there's always going to be some outliers, but I think for the most part, we're getting more to a balanced market where people can have a second showing. They can ask for some repairs. We can negotiate price. It's not so sway toward the seller and what they want, because that, to me, that leads to unhealthy outcomes, some of which we're already starting to see.
I agree with you. I think every day, and I'm not a realtor, never was a realtor, I get these questions all the time.
Yeah,
I think it's more of a course correction, proper expectation.
Mm-hmm.
I remember several of my neighbors putting a house in the market and they were worried how long it was going to take.
Right.
And I was just like, if I were you realistically, I would be thinking anywhere between 60 to 90 days that it could be sold. And I love that sometimes people have that COVID mindset. And I think they're competing with other people in the neighborhood. I found out that people are actually competing with more new construction more than anything else that's going on.
Yeah, because I think the builders too are needing to move inventory.
Yeah.
And that's how we're seeing them. They have a lot more power in terms of the way they can buy from a volume perspective, but a lot of times they have affiliated relationships with lenders in-house that they can get those rates super duper low. So new construction is definitely a key competitor. Whenever I have a listing appointment, this goes back to the marketing days, I do a SWOT analysis on the house: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
I love that.
And nobody else steal that. Nobody steal that. Cut. It helps me just sort of frame it up, and it also shows a potential client how your mind works. And you're able to be honest with people, like, you got some problems with that house, or the floor plan, or the lot, or the neighborhood, or the paint color, whatever the case might be, or a smell. But you also have some strengths. And then this is the opportunity then gives the solutions. How can we kind of, reduce those problems, so to speak, or those issues? And then threats, certainly it's whatever is happening financially in the world or in the area, and certainly what our competition is. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
So Melissa, ever since I've known you, you've always been very passionate about particular causes in your life.
Yes.
And especially when it comes to breast cancer awareness. For people who don't know, can you explain why breast cancer awareness it's just a very personal magnitude?
This is cue the tears. Because when I talk about her like that, it just changes everything. So I lost my mom to breast cancer in July of 2014. She fought the battle for 6 years. And so I don't try to complain about much of anything, because that woman, it was primary breast, but it was breast to bone cancer. So, she had it from here down to her pelvis region. Thank God it never hit her extremities or her throat or her spine, but she was in a lot of pain for a long time, and she pushed hard to stay with us as long as she could. So I was in the Upstate. She's down in Charleston in the Low Country. My brother and sister were down there, but I wasn't able to necessarily take her to appointments or take her to a chemo session, or, I was there on the important moments for sure, but I was raising 3 kids up here and running a career, and it was hard for me to be a part of things. So that's when I really made that intentional decision that I wanted to do something up here. And at that point in time, I was doing a lot of volunteer work and fundraising for Susan G. Komen.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it started in 2008. That same competitive spirit, I was like, okay, let me start a little team called Team Sammy. That's my mom's name. She was the 5th of 5 girls, and she was the little general. It's Sammie, named after my grandfather, Samuel, who was a Baptist preacher from Texas. So, yeah, you talk about a little powerhouse. She was. And we started a little team and started fundraising, and I ended up being in the top 25 little groups for the Upstate. And I was like, no, wait a minute. I hardly did anything. I didn't have much time to prepare.
Yeah.
And so, of course, the next year I was number 1. Because I was like, oh, I can do more. Well,
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and I wanted to do more. I really wanted to do more. So it was fun to be able to kind of create that, and then before she passed, really formalize it, where we had a logo created, and she saw the t-shirts, and I never wanted to change that before she passed. And I never will. She passed away. I kept going with all the things. And then COVID came, and I was sitting at a bourbon bar in Greenville, Neat Bourbon Bar, with my husband in July of 2020, and talking to a dear friend of mine who is the bar manager there, who ironically a year later lost his mother to COVID. And so unfortunately we had that in common. And we loved our mothers fiercely. And I was like, what am I gonna do this year? Because I'm not a virtual girl. I can be in certain aspects, but I want to do something in Mom's honor. And it got to the point with Komen, nothing against Susan G. Komen. I adore them as an organization. It was just, it was time for me to get something more local. I needed more boots on the ground and more help. And I knew that if I could come up with something, I wanted to partner with somebody more local. And one thing led to another, where we created just this idea of bourbon for boobs. Just this little idea.
I love it.
And it rhymed. Yeah. Just kidding. And for me, in all seriousness, cancer to me transcends how much you make, the color of your skin, where you live, what you did, doesn't matter. And in many ways, bourbon is a pretty classic cocktail or liqueur, I guess. And
like an old fashioned.
Yeah, right. A lot of people like it. Again, doesn't matter your age, your race, whatever. You got cheap bourbon, you got expensive bourbon, whatever. So I thought those two things worked well together as too. And so we had this little event in October of 2020 with like 45 people. And I won't go through all the different things that happened in terms of connections, but so many things I feel like had been already planned and laid ahead of me, and I just had to keep walking through it. Why do I get so emotional? So anyway, today, here we are, October of 2025, and we're having our 6th annual Bourbon for Boobs, and it's grown to over 325 people. We now have partnerships with Maker's Mark, who've been with me since day one, and now Heaven Hill, and so many other vendors, partners, people have been so integral and so important in the growth of this event. And the other special thing this year was I was able to create a 501c3. That was the next step. Was I didn't want to be a girl who put on events. I wanted to have something in her name that would last, that all children, our grandchildren could carry on and just keep fighting against breast cancer. And it wouldn't just be a fun event. It would truly be a foundation, and that whether we continue to give all the money to Pearlie Harris Center for Breast Health, or maybe in 5 years, there's a family that we need to help, or there maybe is a new thing that I want to do with the foundation. We've got the flexibility and we've got the ability to do it. So that was huge. And that came Mother's Day weekend of this year.
Wow.
From the IRS. It's the first time I've ever gotten a letter from the IRS that I was happy to see. But no joke, we were like leaving the house, and Tony checked the mail because we were heading to the College of Charleston for Hannah's graduation. Yeah. Which again, the irony of that is that my little sister graduated from the College of Charleston. So my mom was able to be there for that graduation, and we actually replicated the pictures from those. It was pretty cool. And my daughter is named after my sister. So all these things just intersect. Anyhow, opened the letter up, and I grabbed my sun tie bless his heart, he's very used to videoing his crazy mother all the time. Ty, all right, we're gonna open the letter up live right here. Just let's do it. And now if it's terrible, we're not gonna post anything. If it's good news, this is gonna be incredible. And bless his heart, I had my sunglasses on because I knew if it was gonna be good, I was gonna cry. I was gonna cry either way, probably. But anyway, we opened it up and it was like, basically, good news, you've got it. Team Sammy is considered a not-for-profit 501c3 status. So it was pretty amazing. Because I had literally told the attorney, amazing attorney here in town, and he's so soft-spoken and the kindest man. And I was like, Ben, I'm like, we have to have this by Mother's Day weekend. Like, I literally told him that, and I have it on film in March. And I said, you've got to make this happen, make this happen. Now, granted, it wasn't his to make, but literally getting that letter in the mail right before we left Mother's Day weekend was just another, I think, sign that what we're doing is important.
Yeah.
And that we are truly helping people in this community. So.
And Melissa, if you ever under my household, we call these like God winks.
Yes.
I certainly think that was a Sammy wink.
Yeah, no, she was probably like, I got you, sister. Yeah, no, and I'm sure she's watching this right now going, she's always crying. But yeah, and so I think it's important for me to say that the money that we do raise through this event and many others that I have going on through the month of October is given to the Pearlie Harris Center for Breast Health, this part of St. Francis. And the way they specifically use that money is to give those in our community who are underserved or underinsured or not insured at all to get the mammograms and screenings that they need.
Yeah.
We have got 2 mobile mammography coaches, the big pink buses.
Yeah.
And they take them out to like mission sites, rural communities, churches to get to folks to have those screenings. We actually had one in my office one day for the launch of Bourbon for Boobs this year, and I had 4 realtors get their mammograms right there on the bus.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's just like going to Pearlie Harris. The number I was giving in late July by Pearlie Harris is that Team Sammy, and just from January to the end of July, we've been able to give funding for 270 mammograms or MRIs, ultrasounds for people in this community. And this blew me away. It costs $432 for a 3D mammogram with a radiologist screening without insurance. It's very expensive.
Wow.
And so, of course, you do the math. I was like, that was $116,000, like that. Because last year we raised $126,000 from the event in the face of Hurricane Helene. I'm like, Helene, you are not stronger. You are not stronger than Sammy and Pearlie. So get out of my way.
I would remember that you worked even harder. And
yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it's game on.
And one thing I love, your husband, Tony, has been behind you all the way on this. And for people who don't know, I remember he specifically told me, he said, as good as a realtor she is, she could even blow the numbers out of the water. For all of October, she's really fully invested to, breast cancer awareness and making sure you do the things that you need to do in order to uplift your mom. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, certainly it's all in her honor and memory, but there's just, if I can just stop it from getting to that point, prevention is the key.
Yeah.
I think with anything, truly, but breast cancer especially, if you can catch it early, it can be stopped in its tracks. It's just that so many folks, I think, just don't have the access or the means to get what they need.
Yeah.
And a lot of people too are simply like just worried about getting a mammogram done.
Yeah.
It's scary and it's a lot of anxiety around it. If it wasn't so out there, I mean, I would do one on camera. I can't do that. But I'm like, it's not that bad. And the people at Pearlie are just incredible women and incredible people over there. They really, really care about their patients. And I'm so honored to be able to partner with St. Francis and Pearlie Harris. I was born at St. Francis in Charleston. My mom got all of her treatments and her care from Roper St. Francis. So again, it's just this beautiful story that had already been written.
Yeah.
And I love to just keep going. Like, what's the next chapter?
And Melissa, with this experience, how would you say this shaped you and how you show up, not just for your work, but also for your community? I know you kind of elaborated on that a little bit, but what just made it different for you?
I think for me, it gave me a true purpose. I think that I always said to myself, okay, when I die, I don't really want to have on my tombstone, wow, she was one heck of a realtor.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah, I mean, yes, that sounds ugly maybe in a little bit of ways, but it's an important profession. And I know I have helped people, and I have been so honored to help people in the biggest decision of their life, truly, beyond maybe who you marry or something like that. I think for me, it just gave me a true purpose and kind of a compass of, especially after losing her, it was like you kind of lose your compass a little bit. Yeah.
And so I love to say this. Obviously, October is breast cancer awareness. I played football, so obviously that, was a huge part that rose a lot of awareness. But, this advocacy goes beyond just October. I like to say it's a year-long thing.
It is.
What can people do in order to get involved and support some of the organizations that you have, and also the one that you're involved with as well? How can they be more involved in support?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, this is a simple thing to do, is just, number one, take care of yourself and encourage your friends, girlfriends, and then breast cancer does hit men too.
Yeah.
Certainly it's a higher percentage in women. I think that as women, we tend to other things or other people in our families, our children, our spouses, or whatever is around us, our partners, more so than ourselves sometimes. We let things go. That's kind of a baseline, I think. Secondly, if anybody ever wants to help Team Sammy, listen, just call me. You can find me anywhere, Instagram, Facebook, on a billboard, whatever. I'm always open to getting help and just continuing to figure out where else can we connect with folks. I have other partnerships, whether it's Monkeys doing a Shop for Sammy Day, Paul's Chop House doing this salute to Sammy. And this year, this is had been one of my goals, and it finally has happened. This year we'll have my mom's cocktail, basically, in all 4 Halls locations in South Carolina, from September 24th until October 21st. So I can get the numbers before the Urban for Boobs event.
And I think it's important to let people know all those locations.
Yes, absolutely. So you've got Nexton, which is kind of near Somerville. You have Columbia, you have Charleston, and you have Greenville. So, and I'm gonna be putting out so much of this on social media to let people know. And they're gonna take their signature cocktail, which is the 434. It's the pineapple infused vodka. It was named after their location on King Street, 434 King. It's their highest grossing cocktail. So Halls has been so good to, not just to me, but for years and years. Mr. Hall was so generous to anything that we ever wanted to do when it comes to breast cancer in Greenville. Mrs. Hall is a breast cancer survivor, so it does touch them, or had touched them personally. The Hall family has just been so generous and so kind. And Justin Edgar, who's the GM here in Greenville, he's a friend of mine, and I drive him crazy, but we both knew it was going to happen. And I think, again, a lot of things have happened this year for a reason. My mom fought 6 years, and this is the 6th year of the event. And so everything is just like falling into place. Our goal was $160,000, which is a huge leap from last year, which we raised $126,000. I want to believe that without Helene, that number would have been bigger, potentially. But either way, we're going to set the bar really high and try to push really hard to make as much money shopping, having a nice cocktail at Halls, the Junkyard where I'd go to for fitness. They're going to be supporting me as well.
Right?
Yeah, we're going to do some pink out classes and on Fridays. And my understanding is, they also have kind of like a Bring a Friend Friday. So we'll be able to expose more people to the Junkyard, but also to breast cancer awareness. And they're going to support me there too, which is wonderful. Because I always try to have different silos, so to speak, where people maybe they don't want to go to a big bourbon event, even though we have other drinks there. So we have sodas and waters and wine and great food from Society. And Trey Francis plays, and he's wonderful, and his band. But then they could maybe shop for something, or they could go to Halls and have a dinner, or they can go to workout class. So
I love that.
Yeah, so I try to touch.
No excuses.
Exactly. You can plug in somewhere. I've got an opportunity for you somewhere, or you can simply donate. You don't have to do anything, come do anything, except just put your card in and give me some money. So, yeah.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. And that's why I love to say this is Upstate Real Producers beyond the pages, and which I love about publication. It really highlights the realtor, but there's so much more beyond the realtor. And I want to say personally, keep striving.
Thank you.
Don't stop. I think you notice I've always kind of like cheered you on. I just love your passion. I love people who have passion. But for those people who are out there, how can they connect with you? How can they support you? You want to kind of let our viewers know that, like whether it's social media or how can they donate to the cause?
Yeah. So I would say go to, I have a Team Sammy B for B, the bourbon for boobs. It was just too long to go this way. On Instagram that you can join, follow. And then of course you can go to my Instagram page, Melissa Morrell 247. I'm going to have a lot of information there. On both of those sites, you've got a link to get you to the page. I'm using a company called Givebacks, which works with not-for-profits and schools like PTAs and so forth. They do a really good job at making sure we keep as much money as possible. Their fees aren't crazy. So that was a new platform this year because I'm going to be using them for ticket sales and table sales, as well as the online auction. That was another kind of evolution, is to take the auction online and hopefully make a lot more money. But I think that social media is a great way. Certainly people can call me or just Google my name and get my number, and they can reach out that way too. So big goal, 160,000, but we're gonna hopefully
You got it.
Do it.
Go ahead and clean it. It's gonna be more than that.
Yeah, that's what people keep saying. Melissa, you're gonna hit 200,000. I'm like, well, we'll see. But it's exciting, and I really truly want to thank so many. I try to name as many as I can, but there's so many great folks that have helped me, like I said, Maker's Mark, Heaven Hill, Neat Bourbon Bar, The Foundry, Halls, Monkeys, Junkyard, even Run Club last year did a run in my mom's name that hopefully we can do something this year too. And I'm going to forget. It's like get an award or something. You're going to forget somebody. And of course, I thank God for my husband and for my family and for my mother. So
if you can like, subscribe, follow, not just for us, but for Seth. So until next time, we'll see you again.